Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Chris Vermeulen from the TechnicalTraders.com. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim.
Chris, do gold and silver still look like they have a lot of life in them?
Yeah, they do. They look like they've got a lot of headroom to move higher here going into the year end. I've been talking about it for the last few weeks here that really the longer they flag out in this big consolidation pattern, this pause in price, the bigger the next move is going to be. And they were really leading the stock market early this year as a leading sector. And really what they're doing now is they're primed and ready to start another leg to the upside. Now, they haven't broken out yet, but gold, silver, and miners are on the verge. And given the recent selling we've seen in the stock market the last couple sessions, they're holding up very well. In fact, on Tuesday, they're trading quite sharply higher, while the rest of the market is more or less negative. And so they're seen as kind of that safe haven, and they've got all the characteristics to become a leader, I think, over the next 2 months, potentially all the way through January, maybe even into February. So really exciting sector. If and when it breaks out, it's definitely a sector you want to be involved in.
Any price targets?
Well, gold's got potential to get up to around 2,200. Currently it's at 1,910. So there's about a $300 move there. The gold miners actually have the biggest upside. The GDXJ Gold Miner Junior ETF, if it actually has a full run, it could extend about 60% from where it is right now. So that's why it's one of the most exciting sectors. If this pattern breaks to the upside, it's got a lot of room to run, and it could really become a hot commodity play there. So I really like that. Silver, I think silver's got upside potential to reach around $34 an ounce. Right now it's at $24. So there's some pretty lofty upside targets, but just the important thing here is that they haven't broken to the upside yet. They're actually in a short-term downtrend. So you don't really want to get involved in any of those until they start to break out of this bull flag to the upside and start moving higher, because they could continue to sell off for a while here until this bear flag or this consolidation finishes its kind of its time.
Are people looking at other things like natural gas? I know the oil patch itself seems pretty quiet, but is natural gas a different story?
Yeah, I'm really liking natural gas. I mean, if you were to compare the natural gas to how the SP 500 has moved and zoomed back several years, a lot of times when the stock market is getting a little frothy and we see selling in the stock market, we actually see natural gas have these very strong rallies, and natural gas seems to start a rally a week or two before the stock market sells off. So it's really interesting because natural gas is actually putting in a multi-year cycle low this year, and it's building a base. It looks like it's built a base, and it's got a launch pad ready for a pretty big leg to the upside. And there's a ETF that follows natural gas called UNG. I think it's an ETN actually, but similar. And more or less, it allows you to take advantage of natural gas commodity prices, not the stocks around them, but the commodity, and play the upside. And it's really right at this turning point, just like the precious metals sector, where it's on the verge of popping and breaking to the upside, and we could see a very strong rally. So I'm really liking the upside in both of those sectors if they can get their footing here and some traction. And natural gas this UNG is trading at $12.60 today. It has potential to rally all the way up somewhere to around the $16 a share. So quite a substantial move for natural gas. It would be a very explosive, quick move. Natural gas tends to be very quick, you're talking 1 or 2 or 3 weeks tops, and it make these runs happen very quick.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, natural gas expected to have a breakout. What about utilities in general?
Yeah, I really like utilities. They've been working up their ranks to become a hot sector. They've had a very strong recent month in price action. They are actually outperforming a lot of sectors. They're climbing the band watch list, which is the best asset now. They keep working their way up the list, while a lot of the leaders are actually starting to fall down off the top of that list. Utility is definitely a shining star. It's outperforming a lot of assets in the indexes right now. And so that's just telling us that money is fearful. They're moving into defensive plays. And no matter what happens in the economy, we still need electricity, running water, all those things. And these companies pay dividends as well. So that is what happens when people are uncertain about what's happening, which we know stimulus is coming, but when, who's going to be elected, there's a lot of uncertainty. And really, we've seen that through that utility sector. Now, what's interesting is utilities tends to rally a month or so before the stock market has some type of correction, which has been concerned as well. That's natural gas and utilities, both really starting to perk up and show signs of strength. And they're kind of an early warning that we might get into some weakness when the election goes. Who knows who's going to become the next president? And that could be a big shocker. So these are early warnings to be very careful with your money going into the election, because I think we're going to have some very big volatility, and it's real crapshoot to which way this market is going to break, up or down, once the election takes place.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Value from success. Growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, do you expect we're going to see a major correction this fall?
I'm kind of leaning towards we're probably going to see something like that. It really is going to hinge on a few things. First is going to be, does COVID continue to just ramp up? And we're starting to hit these pretty lofty levels of new cases every day. That's going to be, I think, a big determination of which way this market goes. The stimulus plan that comes out is also going to be play a big factor in if the stock market is going to muscle its way up. Is it going to be, a 500 billion, 800 billion, 3 trillion? I mean, it's really kind of up in the air. So there's a lot of wild cards. I think we're going to see selling eventually, and I think that there's going to be leading sectors like the precious metals sector. Obviously, if the economy gets worse, there's going to be more stimulus. It actually paints a good picture for precious metals, because stimulus means more printing, devaluation of the currency long term. Mines start to close down, which means it's harder to get metals. They become more precious. So there's a very good story for some of these sectors like precious metals going forward. So yes, I think we're going to see the stock market struggle. It could trade in a big range, could be under pressure looking forward the next couple of months. But again, we really need to see what's going to happen with the election and how things shake out going forward.
What's going on with Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin's been on a tear. It's up over 5% again today. You and I talked about it several months ago after it had formed this big, the sharp bottom in April, this big bull flag back in March, bottom in March, and then it formed a bull flag in April. And Fibonacci extension was pointing to $14,000 as the measured move upside for Bitcoin. And we're pretty much there. We're at 13,755. We are really just a chip away from that 14,000 mark, which the last time Bitcoin reached this level, we saw the price of Bitcoin sell dramatically. It fell 35% in only a few trading sessions. So this is a pretty major resistance level. It's a measured move on the chart, which means there's going to be resistance. The momentum is going to lose its power at this point as well. So overhead supply running out of steam. You got to be very cautious up at this level that Bitcoin pulls back dramatically here.
Interest rates, are they a factor in what's happening in the markets right now?
They are. I don't get too in depth in the interest rate market going forward, but I mean, if you look at the chart of bonds have been pulling back. Rates have been more or less moving up here, but we're starting to see bonds rally. And when we see fear creep into this market, we see bonds move up, and we're going to see the bond yields start to pull back. Overall, I mean, again, I don't follow the rates that closely for trading the charts. I mean, it's good to look at the 10-year and keep an eye on those, but at this point, those rates I don't think are going to move a whole lot in terms of where they're going. I think the big aspect in the market right now is more or less looking at what's going on with COVID and stimulus and really the technology sector. I mean, it's been the hot sector for most of the year. And for example, today you look at all the major indexes, the Dow, the Russell, the SP 500, they're all negative on the day. And the NASDAQ is up 0.75%, mostly because of technology and healthcare, biotech, kind of leading the way as kind of the sectors that are going to benefit from COVID coming back, or at least just continuing to grind away and put strain on the economy. So there's definitely these certain areas we need to pay attention to, and these sectors as COVID kind of brings itself back. And I mean, if we have another big wave and lockdowns happen like what we're seeing in Europe, we're gonna, this whole COVID wave is going to drag out for another year or two from where we are. It's going to definitely have the transportation stocks like for Amazon shipments. You look at FedEx, UPS, just all those type of shipping companies are going to just do very well along with technology. So it's the key is to find these sectors and wait for the market to start its new wave up, and those sectors should be the leaders going forward here.
Chris, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, Jim. Always a pleasure.
My guest has been Chris Vermeulen from thetechnicaltraders.com. If you have any questions for Chris, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.